smells so glittery. Tea. Tea is the best. Oh, look, what? It's Friday tea time. We're so excited to be here. Such joy, such revelry, such magic, and we have a special guest this week. We're gonna get gothy. Oh yes, hello.
I love that little treacle you have. That's adorable.
Thank you, my darling, and welcome everyone. 'Tis I, Madame Askew, and I'm here with my wonderful chum, my dear friend, whom I do not get to see often enough at all, the Dreadpunk Baba Yaga herself, Diana Terrill Clark. It's so good to see you.
It's nice to see you too. I haven't seen you in ages. I think the last time I saw you was at the last TuskCon.
I think that's right.
You weren't there.
No, I was there last year.
Were you? Okay, but the one before you were, okay. The one before I was not.
Yes.
I had a wedding I had to attend that weekend.
Right. That's correct. Right. So right now we're seeing each other once a year at our favorite little Arizona convention, sci-fi fantasy horror.
Yeah, sci-fi fantasy horror.
Lovely. Yeah. TuskCon. And we're getting ready for TuskCon 51.
Yes.
So, oh my goodness. Hello. Look at this. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lady June Squill. Hello, Scone Mistress Tracy. Our favorite buttery goodness, Bill Barden, is here. And Ty. Hello, my darlings.
How do you know? You must see all the people. I don't know who's here.
Oh,
I see nothing.
So I think that you should be able to, on the right side of your screen should be some little icons, and one of them will say comments.
Didn't join via Facebook.
No, it should not be via Facebook.
Okay.
This is through its own, like, outside.
That's okay. I'm fine talking to everyone.
Oh, good. Well, so the good news is, look at this. Hello, Ricky. Happy Spooky Friday to you as well. So wonderful to have you here. And we are getting cozy. Scone Mistress has Sylvester in her lap.
A little tuxie cat.
So wonderful. Oh, well, my darlings, I am so pleased to be introducing all of you to my dear chum, Diana. Diana, we're both tremendously into all things Gothic, but you are, I described you as the grand dame of Dreadpunk.
Well, I'm the originator, sole perpetrator.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about Dreadpunk, your page, and the whole vibe there.
Okay. Well, let's see. I didn't know what Dreadpunk was when I first heard the word Dreadpunk. It was in 2015, and I had read something from Derek Tatum, who runs the horror panels at DragonCon, and they had coined this phrase Dreadpunk at the convention because what it relates to is things that build that slow, spooky feeling that you get, that creepy fear as you're watching something. So I remember watching all of the old Universal monster movies and the Harryhausen movies.
Oh.
They had a Saturday double feature, creature feature every Saturday. And if I could, I was watching that. And I always loved those creepy, scary Dracula's coming in the window and she's laying there so beautifully. And you know he's going to bite her on the neck. Right? So when I heard the phrase Dreadpunk, it just struck me as that's the thing. That's the name of the thing I really love, is that kind of horror. I'm not really fond of slasher horror. I'm not really fond of just mean people doing mean stuff to each other. I do like that slow, creepy horror where the girl marries and the man is so gentlemanly and he takes her to his home far away, and then she begins to see that there's something not right here.
That whole Bluebeard sort of trope.
The movie I'm thinking of is Crimson Peak.
Oh, yes. I love Crimson Peak. Not
Great
just
ghost
the
story.
fashion, but yeah, it's wonderful. It's so gothy and atmospheric, and
Yes.
I had to watch it with a blanket so I could,
I went to the theater with my niece, and it was wonderful. We both love that kind of thing. So, like, I heard this phrase, and it just electrified me. And I thought, I've got to tell my friend Ed, because he is a horror writer, and I should tell him about this because his side business is selling like spooky things. Macabre Mercantile is what it's called. And so I thought, oh, I've got to tell Ed. So I contacted him immediately and I said, this is a new thing. You've got to do this thing. And I waited a week and he didn't do anything. So I started the page.
So you started the page, and
Yes.
it's a wonderful page. So you can find Dreadpunk equals Gothic Horror on Facebook, and then Dreadpunk Baba Yaga on Instagram.
I started that just like a few days ago. Haven't done much with it yet because I'm supposed to mix it with my Facebook page, and it hasn't done that. Facebook says, no, there's something wrong with your request. Please start an Instagram account. Yeah.
Oh, Meta.
Facebook is very good.
It's so good. It just loves more creators so much. We just adore it. It's wonderful. So, and that's why we use StreamYard, for instance, and now have a different format. But I first fell in love with your Dreadpunk page well before I knew it was you. And we've been friends for
long time.
A long time. We met originally in Steampunk Landia, as I like to say it, well back in the day, in the early days of Wild West Con. I think up at
I think we brushed against each other in the SCA and we didn't really connect.
No.
But I think the first one was the first time I met you was at DarkCon. I think that's the last DarkCon they had.
It was.
And I was helping run the con suite. And Wendy was running the con suite. And we had a blast together.
That con suite was wonderful. And I was very cheeky. And there was a lot of ankle.
It was so much fun. Margie was also there. I love Margie. Yeah. And she taught me a lot of things, how to cook certain things I didn't know how to cook yet. So that was very nice.
Oh my goodness. That was a long time ago. But I'm so happy we met. We connected immediately. You have such a love of language and words and such a playful nature around me. I still one of my favorite costumes you've ever done as a time traveler is your language fairy costume.
It's the diction fairy.
The diction fairy.
Yes.
She's wonderful. Yeah, she's wonderful. Oh my goodness. Amy, we miss you at Wild West Con. I know it's awfully far for you to come now, but we miss you and your delightful spouse. And I love this from Alicia, who reminiscing about the Saturday double feature.
Yes.
She was able to really squeak out those 3 hours. Yeah. So, Diana, before we get too far into our conversation today, do you have anything fun coming up that you would like to share with folks?
The next TUSCon is coming up. And that is November 8 through 10 in Tucson, Arizona.
We're both going to be there.
Yes. I think I'm on some of your costuming panels. So if you need me to do anything ahead of time, just let me know.
I will. Oh my gosh. We're going to have a wonderful time.
Yes.
So Corey Doctorow is the guest of honor.
Yes.
The other guest There's also oh my gosh, Sarah Clements is the
Yeah.
artist.
She does
And
the dragons and cats, I think.
yes, I love her
Yes.
so much. And then we
Yes.
have a wonderful Phil guest of honor this year, whose name is escaping me right now, but it's a wonderful lineup. There's so much fantastic programming. One of the things I adore about TUSCon is that it is capped at 500 people, so it's a fairly intimate convention.
And that makes it much more fun than wandering a convention center until your feet drop off.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It's a great convention for making human connection and
Yes.
having conversations. And
Yes.
so, one of the things I've found is that every year at TUSCon, I make a new friend, at least one.
I do too.
I have at least one conversation where I learn something extraordinary. And there's always some panel going on where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a thing and I have to learn about it.
Yes.
So it's a very joyful experience.
It is. It's always wonderful. And I always love running into people I haven't seen in a year and getting to know them again.
So wonderful to reconnect. So we will get to reconnect in person at TUSCon this year.
The Filk guest of honor is Heather Dale and Ben Deschamps. And now I have some CDs of Heather Dale. That's how long I've known about Heather Dale.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know it's a very wonderful gift that she is going to be at TUSCon this year. We don't usually get to have a Filk guest of honor, so this is a real treat. There's a burlesque show happening as well.
Yes. Wendy made sure.
Yes. And there's also the fashion show on Saturday and all sorts of nonsense going on throughout the weekend. So it's really fun. I'm taking Cog Match. I don't know if you've ever gotten to participate.
I've never gotten to play Cog Match. That sounded a little threatening, madam.
Well, so the Grand Arbiter sort of ran with the game after I expressed to him how much I'd had a good time playing the match game at Westcon.
Right.
And then we'd seen the Snatch game played at our favorite queer sci-fi fantasy horror convention. And so he took those two concepts, threw them into a blender with our sort of signature brand of cheekiness, and Cog Match was born.
Cog Match. Steampunk.
steampunk match game with a lot
cheeky.
A lot of snatch game thrown in there. Cheeky.
It's very cheeky. Actually, I think I've seen it played. I have not played it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I really hope that we can lure you in to play, and
we'll see.
I hope springs eternal. You're very witty, which is the best skill for.
I think the best game I ever played that you were running was Compliment Dueling.
Oh.
That was wonderful.
Yes, thank you. I love Compliment Dueling.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite games. I like that everybody walks away a winner and feeling good. It's nice to put out that kind of good energy.
It's a nice vibe to share.
Yeah.
That's a really fun game.
Yeah.
I think I was like the second, so they could call me in if they were flummoxed.
Well, you are the Diction Fairy, and so
yes.
You are very gifted in the realm of words and compliments and all the things. And not only are you good at words, but you've been known to put pen to paper and write stories and create your own fictional worlds.
Yes.
Do you have any novels or anything coming out?
I have 3 things at an editor right now. And one of the 3 things I am rewriting as best I can because she's right, of course. She's absolutely right about what's wrong. And now I have to buckle down and just fix it. And it's hard because I thought that story was done and I was moving on to other stories. So So it's hard. But the two other things she has are novellas in the same world.
Oh, exciting though.
Exciting, but
I mean, editing, I think, is one of the worst, hardest, most awful things.
yes.
Well, afterwards, it feels so good to have things cleaned up and tightened up.
This entire second half of the book needs to be rewritten because she's right that I wasn't as concise as I should have been. And there were things that did not need to be there that needed more put into it than, because see, when you're writing, you're thinking of the story, you're making it up as you go, and it's so clear in your head. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's going on and where you're going, and you see it all so clearly. You write it out and you think, well, I got that done.
Yes.
And then someone reads it and says, I don't understand what happened.
Oh,
and it's
no.
like, oh, it was here, but I didn't put it there well enough. But I do like having an editor say, that was really great. I loved that. Do more of that.
Yes.
So.
Well, Diana, I'm going to be keeping my fingers crossed for you.
I've got to get it done.
Next fiction.
Yeah.
Do you plot heavily before you get into it, or do you like have
I'm a pantser. I try to plot, and what happens when I do that is the characters take over and go a whole other way. So I basically decide what world I'm in and what I think I'm doing, and then I go from there and see where it takes me. And then afterwards, I can go put in the clues that I need at the beginning and continue things that I needed to continue.
Yes, lovely. Oh, also, we have got some joy for your kitty. Yes, Lady Tune Squirrel. Dear Diana is also a cat parent.
I have a black cat too.
Yeah. What's your kitty's name?
Well, her name is Sabrina, but not after the witch Sabrina. I named her after Sabrina Fairchild, who is named after Sabrina, the water nymph in the movie Sabrina.
I love
it. I know, but Sabrina, our cat, loves playing in the water, so I thought she was a nice little water nymph, and I don't know. That's where it came from.
Yeah. Oh, but I love that. I love the complexity of the story.
It's ridiculous.
No, cats deserve ridiculous names, is my first opinion. So Black Cats, the perfect segue to talk a little bit more about our great passion. It is spooky season.
Yes.
It is the time of reveling over all the things mythological, legendary, horror, creepy, all of it, the Gothic novel, all the things. Yes. You mentioned watching films and seeing the double features.
Yes.
When you were growing up.
Yes.
Do you have like what was your gateway?
It was got to be the Dracula movies and the Frankenstein movies and the Wolfman movies. I think I loved the Wolfman movies the most. And I watched Rosemary's Baby when I was way too young. And that was the scariest movie because it's about the scary part. It's not, to me, it wasn't the devil's child. It's the lack of her autonomy that they just took over her life and gaslit her until she did what they wanted. And then she was trapped with this demonic baby.
Yes.
That was terrifying.
You know, that is it. I think that is the most horrifying part of the story is her loss of self, her loss of autonomy.
Yes.
And we're not going to dwell too far on the modern repercussions of that conversation, but we'll just let it float there because it's very timely observation. But I often find that in Gothic horror, in the kinds of scary stories I'm interested in, it's these sorts of things. The human element that's the most terrifying, and the monster
Yes.
can be metaphors for that. But often the monsters are not the worst part.
No, and if you think about Frankenstein, he's not the monster. It's Victor that's the monster.
Victor,
Yeah.
out of control scientific experimentation without any ethics.
Well, and he was trying to create life, which up until that point had been the realm of females. And he thought, well, I can be like God because, women aren't anything. So I'll be like God and create something. And then as soon as he does and it stands up, he pees his pants and runs away. He wasn't ready to have created something like that.
Oh, the hubris, the hubris. Oh my gosh. Oh, Alicia shares. Her English teacher did not agree with her essay on that film. What did she know? She thought Wuthering Heights was a romance. Clearly, she'd never read it. Oh,
Wuthering Heights was insanity. That was a really great book, but there were a lot of problems. They both egged each other's insanity on. Mm-hmm. They made each other so much worse.
They did. Do you have a film adaptation of that you love particularly?
I like the one, what's his name? Timothy Dalton did one.
Yes.
I think that I really like that. And I like that Kate Moss song, Wuthering Heights song. Have you ever heard that?
Oh, the Kate Bush. Whoa, yes.
Oh, Kate Bush, not Kate Moss. That's a model. What am I thinking? Bush. Whatever, it's Kate. It was a Kate.
It's very similar, yeah.
They both named Kate.
Yes. And yes, dear sub-Gothians. Yes. Absolutely true. Frankenstein is not the monster. The monster is Frankenstein. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, when I was very little and first reading Wuthering Heights, I was swept up in the sort of perception of romance. But I think when you become an adult, hopefully,
you realize this is really unhealthy. This is not okay.
Not a good romance.
No.
I really love the Laurence Olivier one, even though it's
because Laurence Olivier. I have seen every Jane Eyre there is because I am passionate about that book. Yeah. And the Laurence Olivier version of Jane Eyre is my heart.
So good. That one is so creepy, and the shadows and the way it's filmed and everything.
Yes.
So atmospheric, and it makes this kind of claustrophobic vibe through the whole thing.
It's true.
Really good.
It's so good.
It also cuts out huge swaths of the book, and I'm like, maybe the Brontes just needed an editor.
Maybe, I don't know. If I could see the entire book with every detail filmed, and it took 47 hours, I would be thrilled about that. I would want to see every single detail.
But serious question about Jane Austen, or not Jane Austen, we love her too, but Jane Eyre.
Yes.
Dear Jane, who's so put upon and suffers so much.
Yes.
That whole bit where she goes off on her own and meets her random cousins.
Yes. That's fairy tale stories, but I mean, there are a lot of remarkably weird coincidences out there. So I suppose truth is stranger than fiction a lot. So I think I am a fan of Jane because she never stopped being herself. She had her morals and she had her ideals. And when he wanted her to break those and she found out, she didn't just get convinced by him. She left.
She did, even though it was caused her great suffering, including her broken heart. I recall the first time I read that book, I must have been 14, 13.
Yes.
Quite impressionable. And I just wept through the
When
whole thing.
Helen died, my heart broke.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I was obsessed with Helen for a
I
long
was too.
time.
I wanted Helen. Yeah.
And I love Elizabeth Taylor's portrayal of Helen in the film.
Yes, she was so sad and weak, delicate.
Oh, so
So sad.
perfectly tragic.
Yes.
With,
I know. Maybe that's why I like Gothic. I don't know. Maybe that and all the other monster movies combined to make this horror fan. I don't know.
I mean, it feels like the wonderful DNA of our youth, creating this, sort of interest and sensibility around things Gothic and the macabre. My grandmama and great auntie took me with great regularity to the family graves, and we spent so much time cleaning gravestones and decorating them every year. It felt very natural to be in love with cemeteries. And
yes, I love cemeteries. My great grandmother and my grandmother, both sides of my family, would visit the graves of their family members, and I was there to help them clean up the weeds and make sure everything was brushed off and nice. And so, I mean, I don't have any fear of graveyards or ghosts.
I love those traditions, and I feel that there are places in the world where they continue to be very practiced, and continue to be celebrated. But often here in North America, we've sort of lost connection with many of these traditions around cemetery death.
I agree. And there were traditions that people in cities would have picnics at graveyards because there were no parks nearby, really. So they did that. I lived in Japan for 3 years. Every year they had something called the Obon Festival. And that is the celebration of the dead. They would go visit their graves and bring food and wash the bones.
But it's lovely. It connects you with the family history. It connects you with ancestors, and it's also normalizes something that really happens.
Yes.
So
I don't know, does it make you less afraid of dying? I mean, I don't think I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die, but I don't think I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, it varies on the day, but generally speaking, I don't feel afraid of death. In fact, I love books with death features as a character. So
those are fun.
In that regard, but I think perhaps the thing I fear is like not having led a life of significance in this time. So I try very much to make
a mark.
So this is wonderful.
Horror Frankenstein.
The Changeling and the Lady in White.
Yes, those are all very good.
Excellent films. We've got author Lauren Rhodes has several books about touring cemeteries. I love that. You know, honestly, and yes, it is almost Day of the Dead here.
Which is Dia de Muertos. Yeah. I was corrected last year by one of my followers who is Hispanic, and she said Los is not necessary. It's Day of the Dead, but Dia de Muertos is fine. And I said, okay, I'll remember.
Excellent. Well, it is a very big part of the culture here in southern Arizona. And I had the good fortune to live in New Mexico and Santa Fe during some of my time travel adventures. And also there they have a massive celebration with zozobra and all sorts of beautiful nonsense. So
it's fun.
I love that. It's wonderful, and it's wonderful to be able to participate respectfully in these events. I am deeply fascinated with these sorts of traditions all over the world, but it's wonderful to live close to a particularly vibrant experience like celebrations here. So yeah, beautiful. Oh, thank you, Lady June Squill, for bringing that up.
Yes.
And thank you, Diana, for going down a little bit of memory lane about cemeteries and graves and all of those things. I do sort of long to host a steampunk cemetery picnic someday.
Would
So
that be interesting?
it would be fun.
You'd have
But
to talk to the cemetery, maybe the people that keep the cemetery, just to
absolutely.
make sure nobody's going to be mad that a bunch of steampunks come and want to picnic.
I would never do it without checking in with the cemetery and making plans. And
I'm sure. I would know. Yes.
Yeah. But it's a good point for anyone listening that if you hear that and you say, oh, that sounds really lovely and delightful, yes, but please check in with the caretaker for any.
We won't make a mess. We just want to be nice to the dead people.
Right. We'll be respectful. We will not, terrorize any of the tombstones.
Or, put any graffiti or anything. We'll just have our snackies and then toddle along.
Yes, respectfully, in very fancy dress.
Yes.
So, speaking of fancy dress and dressing up for adventures, like going to have a picnic in a graveyard at the cemetery, we have a very special topic this week voted on by our Patreon subscribers. Yes. Thank you, my darlings. This was a hot and heavy poll and very heavily, pardon me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Very heavily voted on. Thank you, everyone. And the winning topic is Beyond the Veil, indispensable goth accessories. And so, how perfect.
It is perfect.
We can talk a little bit about what we would wear to go to a picnic in a cemetery, for instance, and what you think is your favorite goth accessory.
I'm wearing a bat necklace, and you can't see under the headphones, but the earrings are also bats. I don't know if they're my favorite. I have Doc Martens that are Doc Marten light, so they don't have the very thick sole, and I wear them almost every day, so that would count, possibly. And maybe possibly this dress, which also features not flowers, but bats.
They're bats, everyone. They're bats.
It's not flowers. It's bats.
I love this so much. And I love that you paired your bat earrings, your bat necklace, your bat dress.
Right, because it doesn't seem to go with a flowered dress. But if it's a bat dress, possibly, yes.
Yes, I love it so much. And yes. Right, you need to check in with the vicar or the caretaker or what have you at your cemetery of choice, especially if it's an older space. They do get some vandalism and they do have to be wary. So it's not like in the 19th century when it was normalized to go picnic there. Alas.
They couldn't stop them. There were too many. Now people are afraid of cemeteries. And you say, oh, I went to the cemetery. And people say, what? Why?
Yes. Right. I know. I love a cemetery. Also, yes, Alicia, bats and cats are the bestest. She's finishing a cat dress now to go with a bat necklace.
Nice.
I love a good gothic piece of jewelry.
Yes.
I feel like jewelry is wonderful because you can work it into anything ensemble.
Well, like, I've always loved those earrings of yours. The Ouija.
Yes.
Ouija. Ouija. Well, I love them.
Thank you.
And they look heavy, but you told me they were light, and I covet them. They're lovely.
Oh my gosh. So they're made out of like little wood laminate. So they're not even like a heavy wood, they're light. They're wonderful, and they're made by one of our dear friends who is at TusCon usually. Natalia Lopez. And so
Oh,
perhaps,
I know her. I should
yes,
get some from her.
you
I
could
think last time she was sold out of them, and it was the last day, and I was too late.
Mm, you need a pair. They are
Yeah.
so wonderful. I wear them all year, to be honest.
Yes,
Uh,
I love them.
but especially at this time of year, I'm like, ooh, it's time for the planchettes to come out. One of my favorite stories, though, Diana, I have to share this with you and everyone. I was flying, I think it might have been last year around the holidays to go out to Seattle. And it was very quiet because I was flying on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
And so the
yes.
airport was dead. It's perfect. This is my preference. I love doing this because it's so relaxed. The day before is terrible, but the day of
Yeah.
is
The day of.
and
Yeah.
so I was wearing these and my favorite little beret, which is shaped like a
The
fox.
fox.
And
Yes, I
I
love
was
the fox
all,
beret.
done up in this very cute autumnal look. And I had some time, so I went to go get myself a little breakfast before flying. And as I'm like checking out, there are two young women at the counter, and they are absolutely fascinated by me because they are not used
You're a
to.
fascinating person.
Thank you. They just never met a middle-aged woman who was happy with her appearance and liked to dress
Hmm.
up. And so they were sort of like, wow, you can do that. And I'm like, yes, in fact, I can do sort of whatever I like on this front, to be honest. Um,
Anyone can. There
right?
should be no fear involved.
As long as I'm not breaking any decency laws, I will
Exactly.
wear what I like. But so they were asking me all about my ensemble, and the one young woman was just like, "Oh, you should always dress like this. It's wonderful." And I'm like, "Well, thank
I
you, I do."
do.
But the other
Of
young woman
course you
was
do.
terrified when she saw my earrings. She 100% believed that I could be summoning demons right then as I was nearly ordering
By
a pair.
wearing them.
She's like, oh my goodness, you could bring demons out of, I'm like, where? We're in an airport. It is maybe a portal to some demonic realm, but these earrings are not the problem.
No. I have a handbag that has the spines of horror books across the back. So it has like The Shining and Carrie and The Haunting of Hill House and Psycho and The Ring and several others. And I was in the elevator with this handbag going up to my 13th floor. I work on the 13th floor, which is perfect. And the lady said, your bag says Psycho. And I said, yes, it's a very good book. Have you ever read that book? She goes, are you Psycho? And then she like stayed on the far side of the elevator and like scurried out. And I'm like, maybe I should have tried to bite her or something. I don't know. I was just like, what? It's a purse. It's a purse.
It's wild sometimes.
I know.
And I think that this happens to romance authors as well, that people assume that whatever you're reading, whatever you're writing in that
There's a
realm,
torrid scene.
right? And also that it's reflective of who you are on a base
Yes.
level. And many people who read things like Psycho are demonstrably not psycho.
Not Psycho.
Demonstrably.
Not
Absolutely
Psycho.
very grounded and everything. Psycho is too terrifying for me personally. I cannot get through it.
Yeah.
But
It's a good book, but I mean, I like horror a lot. That is the one slasher movie. When I saw that movie, I was probably 10, and I swore that blood was red, and it's a black and white movie, but it was very terrifying. It was very scary.
Ty, I love this. I love this. Also,
I should have done something. I was just shocked. I should have. Oh, that's funny.
I love that. This is so good. Also, Lady June Squill, I love your little
May
icons.
Godzilla destroy this home last.
Yes. This is wonderful. Oh,
Ooh,
oh my gosh. This
yeah.
this is
80s
fantastic.
style guitars and guitar pick. Would the guitar play itself, or are they playing the player?
Ooh,
Hmm.
ooh. No, this is like this is a story nugget. This is really an amazing
Joe
concept.
Hill. Joe Hill needs to write that one.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I know jewelry though is wonderful because it's a great conversation starter and also a wonderful way to elevate a sort of normal ensemble into something a little bit edgy. The same with,
Yes.
a purse or a, a tote bag or something like that. That's sort of sly and you can kind of slip it in. And I love having a number of those things kicking around so that I can put a little gothic spin
I
on it.
do that almost at least once a week. I have one dress that is covered with poisonous plants.
Mm.
And so it's this nice blue dress with little square flower patterns all over. And they say, "Oh, what a pretty dress." It's like, they're all poison. See, this is hemlock.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know. I'm ridiculous.
Oh, no, you're perfect. You're perfect in every way. Even Mary Poppins could not argue with me on this. So yeah, just for like dressing in my everyday life, I love these sorts of things, and that
Yes.
sounds absolutely stunning. I love it. And I love a poison garden, even though I should never try and have a poison garden. Um,
Yeah.
and Lady Junescore has a scarf of poisonous plants. I love that.
Yeah,
So
I do
good.
too. That's so
Um,
much fun.
it's so much fun. And yeah, a
Ooh.
dress out of arsenic, Ruthven's dreams. Yes, thank you, Ty. Um, no, but when it comes to imagining myself in a gothic setting or a gothic novel and trying to like make my way in the
How
world,
do I swan around in this context?
what am I going to wear for my swanning? Because honestly, swanning is a huge part of the gothic heroine's
Yes.
experience. Swanning, swooning. Uh,
Swooning.
we need a third S. Swanning, swooning,
Suffering. Suffering.
suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to go with seducing, but I think
Okay.
suffering is
I mean, they always are suffering until the end, and then they get away from the suffering they hope.
mm. I love that. Swanning, swooning, and suffering. The three S's of the gothic heroine.
Um,
Oh, I love this. Thermo has
mhm.
Dangerous Monsters from Dungeons and Dragons
Yes.
shirts. Oh, it's so good. I love
I think
that.
I've seen something like that on a website called Black Milk. They have different fan based or goth based clothing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Oh, Alicia has a wonderful suggestion for our gothic heroine. A tea dress, of course, with a ribbon
Of
corset.
course.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh no, listen, Thermo got
Oh,
it.
see, it was Black Milk. I thought so because they have some great. I'm a D&D GM, and I play about once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, depending on when the players are available. Because they all have lives as well. We play online, and this is my gaming headset. But yes, I'm into D&D as well.
Mm,
Yeah,
love that. Oh my gosh, Diana, you must be a brilliant game master because you are.
I love it. Yeah,
Oh, I love that.
I
Oh,
do. I love it.
we have another vote for the third S. Sweeney.
Sweeney.
Yeah,
Very sinister.
a little murder never goes amiss. Clearly, in a gothic heroine.
That's right. Swooning, swanning. Okay, so maybe the gothic heroine can swoon and swan, and the gothic hero would Sweeney and He would suffer still, of course, but what
There's
would the
got to
other?
be suffering.
Yeah,
You've got to
it's
have that.
Gothic. Must be. Sweeneying.
Sweeting,
No.
slashing,
Slashing.
yeah,
Possibly.
possibly. Swashing,
Swashing. Swashing is possible.
right? I love a swash and a buckle. So,
Yes.
Ty wants to know, have you played the Monster of the Week RPG?
I
That's
have not.
interesting.
I have my most recent fun game I've been playing is one called Rika, and it's a new game that's pre-released, and it's so great because it's a girl that goes to a village and finds out Baba Yaga lives there, and so Baba Yaga takes her in and has her help build a new chicken hut. And so you go help the villagers with things and get rewards, and then you get to build a chicken hut of your own. And I have played it 3 times through because it's great.
That sounds amazing.
It's so much fun.
Well, and Thermo says, also a DM. Thermo,
Yes.
I love that. I'm not totally shocked by this information, but I love to know it. And Alicia has an opinion on our Gothic hero. It's only the cute heroes that suffer.
Okay, because then you've got the villainous heroes who make everyone else suffer.
Yes.
Until they get their just reward at the end.
Oh my gosh. So if we are talking about a Gothic hero who is on the cute side, he's going to need like a really good, I think, a nice cravat situation going on.
Absolutely.
Right. I feel like the cute Gothic hero, the one who's suffering, needs the cravat so he can untie it dramatically or tug on it, or just like pull it off in a
out of frustration. Yes, the cravat is important. I know that. Why isn't the Grand Arbiter here? Doesn't he have a cravat?
He does. I make him cravats. Well, I make him mostly jabots, which is sort of like cheetah cravats. Honestly,
it's a pre-made cravat.
Yeah, because he does not like knots, to be honest.
But I'll tell you, Beau Brummel really ruined manhood.
Oh,
there's a whole long thing about that.
Oh, we do not like Beau Brummel around here. No, he's he's a problematic figure, and he really put a crimp in gentlemen's fashions and
masculinity. Yes.
Oh, and yeah, he's so homophobic. We don't like him. So no, not at all. So the Grand Arbiter's off at Magic Con having an adventure playing Magic, which means you and I get to be extra cheeky tonight. Which is delightful. But yeah, no. So he's got all of his jabots and cravats with him. And I discovered a long time ago that cravats are not for me. I've got too much going on here.
I don't want to be choked. I don't like anything that's around my neck.
No.
I can't even wear those Gothic chokers that look so pretty. And I can't. I just feel like I'm choking. I don't.
I need to.
I'll just have to. Yeah.
Breathing room, you know.
Yes, I need to breathe.
My neckwear needs to give me room for the whole throat, full breath experience. Now, I think that the villainous hero really needs a cloak, a cape, something swishy.
Okay, but the regular one can also have one, but it would be a white cloak more, or nothing too dark and swishy.
No, it wouldn't be like a red lined opera cloak. I love this. They can do what that's true. That's
100%. They can. Yes, I agree.
Whatever they want, and if they would like to do whatever they want,
if they want to be a hero with a red lined opera cloak, that's perfect.
Yes. And Thermo, do hit me up. I am happy to give you the low down on making cravats. You
Yes.
would look amazing in a cravat or a jabot. And I love this. What about a dark leather duster?
I mean, I've read a lot of novels where the hero is wearing the dark leather duster.
Mm.
So,
You know, I am immediately taken to the Underworld films with Kate
yes.
Sale, and she also looks really good in a dark leather duster.
Well, and a lot of polyurethane,
Mm.
skin tight.
Yeah, just sort of
Yeah.
poured on.
Yes. She
Yeah,
looks great
she looked amazing.
in every scene.
She did a lot in very tall boots, and good on her. Yeah.
Yes. No,
Oh,
I won't wear those.
ooh, no, not for me. No, I'm a woman in comfortable shoes.
Yes. No,
Um,
no tall boots for me. I like the Doc Marten light. I have
mm,
some regular Doc Martens, but you can't wear those in the rain or on slick floors.
oh,
They're very slippery.
ooh,
So,
ooh.
yeah.
Good to know. I've
Yeah.
never essayed them in the rain. I love this. Some finery or bedazzled with obsidian. I'm
Mm.
about that life, Thermo. That sounds amazing. Um, Lady June Squirrel is reminding us that Angel
Angel, the
looks
duster.
amazing in the duster.
Yes.
Oh, Angel. Oh, this is great. Martha suggests houndstooth lining if the hero is not sure if
Which
he
way?
will go, you know.
Am I Sherlock Holmes?
Am
Am
I
I Drac? I don't know.
yeah, so hard. Houndstooth. It's the fiber for all of your moods.
Houndstooth is great. Yes.
I love this. A day cravat, aka ascot improperly, can be nice because it's cozy yet loose and breathable. Absolutely. And dear
With a thinner
Sabati,
fabric, maybe. I don't know.
or a nice like silk or satin or something like that
Mhm.
to use. I've seen them done out of like really fine handkerchief weight silk or scarf weight.
Right.
It looks really beautiful. And I know for a fact that Subgothius looks wonderful in an ascot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so dashing. I love this. Alicia wants to know, is it the duster or the actress?
In the words of a friend, upon leaving the film, she was wearing a coat.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. She was very pretty.
Yes, she was very pretty and very
Athletic.
daring. Yeah,
Athletic.
absolutely smashing in that. I have
Smashing.
watched every one of those films.
Underworld is goth.
It's so goth.
It is
I think
gothic horror. Yes.
it's definitely got that sort of modern urban fantasy
Yes.
vibe.
And see,
But
Dreadpunk has that pop culture reference. But if
yes,
you look at what modern Dreadpunk is, it's movies like Underworld and the Crimson Peak callback is the classic gothic horror, but there are some modern movies that are definitely Dreadpunk.
what is one of your favorite modern incarnations of
Oh my
Dreadpunk?
gosh. First thing I thought of is Penny Dreadful.
Oh
Oh, that
yes.
series was so good. And then they ended it for no reason.
Yes.
It was just over.
Too
And they said,
short.
oh no, we planned it that way. Yeah, right. Sure, you did.
Yeah, it's
No,
too
they
short.
did. It was too short. They hadn't brought out all of the monsters yet. I hadn't seen the Invisible Man yet.
Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Penny Dreadful was so fabulous. I thought
So
the
good.
cast was amazing and
It
I loved the
was.
costuming.
It was so brilliant.
So I think it might be one of my favorite incarnations of Frankenstein as well because
He's so whole as a human,
right.
even though he was massively disfigured by his creator.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes, the woman in black.
also wonderful. Oh, Oh, the writer got mad because the show was too expensive, so the network took the toys away. Oh, no.
Boo.
Boo Network. It was a wonderful show.
It was wonderful.
I haven't watched the subsequent more
I
recent.
watched it and it didn't have the same vibe. It was more of an exploration of other kinds of monsters, and it was set in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
And it was okay. I just wanted them to bring back Eva Green.
Oh, Eva Green.
Yes.
Yes, she can also come to tea anytime.
Anytime.
Oh, to do a callback to our boots. Thermo likes combat boots for everyday wear.
Yes.
For cosplay, it's usually platforms. She likes to be 6 feet tall. Thermo, you do a beautiful 6 foot tall, by the way.
Yes.
Very, very dashing.
I'm a hobbit. I'm 5'2".
Yes.
So
I know. I am so giant at my whole 5'3" by comparison to you. It is unusual for me to stand tall next to anyone. It's not as well. Ooh, this is so. Sarah says the fall
yes.
Usher is horrifying, but its perspective on all the classic Poe works is amazing.
It's a 2023 series, and it is fantastic. I loved what they did, and it's all set in the modern world, and the way that each of them got their just reward as the film went on, it was fantastic. And the person who plays the mastermind was also fantastic.
I love that.
Yes.
I haven't watched it. It actually looks like it'll be too scary for me. I'm one of those people. I love goth. I'm very comfortable swanning around through a cemetery. I can read the Brontes or Frankenstein, but I find especially the visual media that it can get too scary for me very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly, hats off, but I cannot read Stephen King like it all. He's just too terrifying.
And I have read almost everything Stephen King has ever written. Although I might be behind because I've been trying to read all of T. Kingfisher's work, and it's very good.
Oh, I love T. Kingfisher.
Yes, I just got done with the Saint of Steel series, and I'm on the second book of the Clock Tar series. And I've read a whole bunch of the shorter ones. It's like my reading program right now.
Oh my gosh. It's the alternative name for an author who also writes children's and young adults fiction.
Ursula something.
Ursula something. I cannot remember her last name right.
Because I haven't read any of those children's books.
Thank you, Alicia. That is good.
Same. I never got into the American Horror Story either.
Let's see. We've got
Oh yes, Midnight Mass especially. But those three were very good, and they're done by the same director, I believe. But the Midnight Mass was so brilliant. It was so good. It's a vampire story, but you don't realize it at first.
So good.
Yes.
We've got Bill would like to know if you've read Mexican Gothic.
Yes.
It's on my list to read. I haven't read it yet.
It's very good. It's got a lot of the creep factor is the mushrooms that control people. And it was itchy, but really good.
Ooh, yes. Oh, anything like that where there's like a little body horror, loss of personal autonomy always makes me very anxious.
It's very scary, but it was so good.
If we are looking for things that are in that zone, I have to put out a plug for a wonderful book and recommend it to you as well, Diana, called, let me see, vampires of in the oh gosh, I'm seeing it with its Spanish name, so I'm just going to go with the Spanish name because I will not remember the name in English. So it is Vampiros en el Norte by Isabel Cañas. It's also in English as well as Spanish, and it's set in the borderlands between Mexico and the Americas, United States.
Yes.
Texas.
Oh, I wrote it in Spanish, and so the Spanish description came up.
Oh,
I'll save it. I'll save it. It'll be fine.
It's
I'll get
wonderful.
it in English.
It's so good. It is a fantastic take on vampires and also a great metaphor for the problem of colonialism and invasion. And so it's very good. She also wrote a fantastic retelling of Bluebeard's Bride.
Oh, interesting.
The Hacienda. And I recommend that one as well. So
Okay.
excellent books to add to your spooky reading list.
I have a lot of spooky reading. I do a lot of spooky reading, and I read a lot because I read on Audible when I'm driving and when I'm like cooking or doing my hair or something. And then also I read on my Kindle, and I read in regular books. So I just think reading is reading. We had a discussion on the page about if reading Audible is still reading, and there are some very angry people is not reading because you don't have a book. And it's like, well, okay, but the author's words are getting into my brain meat.
Right.
So it feels like reading.
It's definitely reading. And I feel strongly that the idea that consuming audiobooks is inferior or not equivalent to physically reading with the book.
Right, with your eyes. Okay, so but what about blind people that are reading with Braille? Are they reading?
Right, it's very ableist and it's very literalist. Yes. And I don't think either of those is really a good place to be coming from.
Well, I think most of the time on the page, we have a very good vibe in the community, and we rarely have a lot of argument. But I believe in letting people argue if they want to argue. I think a lot of times people come to Facebook because they like arguing. So why should I spoil their fun unless they become very abusive? Yeah.
Oh, that is brave of you to sort of let those things play out. I have a tendency to moderate pretty quickly.
Yeah. I let things play out, and often I will find that people come to a like mind where before they were bashing, and then eventually they talk enough that they will come to a like mind, or they'll block each other and go their separate ways. But if it starts to become very abusive, I will delete. But I think people just need to be who they are. I think they need a safe space to just be themselves. And I'd say 95% of the time, I think most of the time, people are very good to each other.
Yeah. And I love this. Thermo says if they are accountable, then compromise is possible. That's true.
That's true.
And if you're willing to accept, factual information as fact, it really helps. So Sarah says she's just got back into reading, and she's been giving the Throne of Glass series.
Yes, that's very good. Very tough female lead character, which I love. I love having tough female characters. And Sarah Maas is so good at giving us what we want.
Oh, lovely. If there were a sort of gothic or thriller or horror novel that you feel is not getting enough attention right now that you could recommend, what would it be?
I don't know. Let me think about that for a minute.
Absolutely. That was a question off the cuff. So take take your moment with it. Take your time. Everyone, thank you so much for being here, by the by. It's so wonderful to have you. And we're seeing some faces we don't get to see on the regular. So I'm
What was
delighted
the
to
name
see
of that one? Let me look something up real quick. Maybe
Yes.
I'll remember it because I read this and it was by the same author who wrote Mexican Gothic.
Oh, excellent.
And it was a very good book about the time period of the Inquisition in Spain.
Oh, oh, very creepy.
It was very good.
Very horrifying time. As Diana is looking up her book, I just want to remind you all that you can follow the Dreadpunk Gothic Horror Facebook page at the link I just posted in the comments. And also, please share, if you would, what your essential Gothic accessory would be if you found yourself in a Gothic novel or a Gothic film or living out a Gothic story in your own life. Perhaps going to meet Dracula for tea because you're on good terms, or perhaps you're running a salon for shifters and you want to, be prepared for the Wolfman who finally comes to get his hair trimmed. So,
Not coming to me. I'm not finding it, but I'll figure it out in just a sec.
Absolutely. Take your time, Diana.
Okay.
So, I do have to admit that I am a fiend for a good piece of headgear in every scenario. And I love a veil in theory. I love the drama of a veil.
I do too. They itch, though.
They
They
itch.
itch. They do mean.
Well, they itch and they kind of obscure my ability to see things, or they get hung up on my spectacles, which is a real problem when I'm trying to run away, from the mummy or something like that, because then I can't see properly and I'm sort of swatting at my face trying to navigate the hallway of some Gothic mansion. Um, Ooh, my goodness. Thermo's accessory would be a mirror of many things where items that could be useful appear in real time, and she has to figure out what they could be used for. Oh, I love that. That's another wonderful story kernel right there. And she says the mirror would have nice metal work with a small handle and a strap, copper in color. Very well developed. I love this. Perfect. Oh, so good. And Alicia says, only one accessory, question mark, question mark, question mark. Alicia, you may have as many accessories as you wish to have. This is just to let the stakes be low. I don't demand more than one, but if you have more than one, we want to hear about it. She would have to go with an extra wide cameo choker.
Okay.
She totally has the neck for it. You do totally have the neck for it, my friend. It's true. You look so stunning in that.
Okay. I found it, but it wasn't Sylvia Moreno Garcia.
Oh.
It's Leigh Bardugo.
Oh, Leigh Bardugo.
Yes, and she wrote a book called The Familiar.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. No wonder I couldn't find it. It was the wrong author.
No. It's all right.
But it was so good. It was very spooky.
Well, let me pull up the link for everyone. This is on my TBR, but I have not had the opportunity to read it yet. But here you go. Here is the link. If you are interested in adding something fun and spooky to your reading list, with a little bit of historical setting there.
The lead character has an ability to do tiny miracles, just tiny little things that she wishes would happen. And then the people she works, she's a maid, a very poor maid. And the people she works for find out about her skill. You know, she can fix little rips in dresses or just little tiny things. And it turns into something that nobody wants, because then the nobility find out about her little gift.
Oh, no.
And yeah, it's very good though.
Fantastic. Well, and
Yeah.
Leah Bardugo has written the wonderful Shadow and Bone series, and my favorite is the one about the Six Crows.
Yes, The Six of Crows, such a good book.
So good.
Yes, and I wanted to talk about Gideon the Ninth. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
I loved that book. Yes. It's basically necromancers in space.
Yes. So good.
It's so good.
Yeah. So Sarah asked, what is this book? The Little Miracle Maid.
It's
Sarah,
The Familiar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I posted the link to find that at bookshop.org into the comments. So you should be able to just click on that and immediately go right there to the book.
Yes.
And,
I mean, that is the dream. Is that the dream?
Oh,
I think I want one too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. A little assassination corset. Absolutely.
I played for Wild West Con one year. I played an assassin, and I had all these toys that were props that were blades. And I think I put like 14 on my person. So when I went through the gate, they wanted to piece bind my sword. It's plastic, but they wanted it. So it's okay. Do you have any other weapons? And then I was able to take them out one at a time, just like that trope. And it was great. And finally they got to 9 and he goes, go, just go. I have more.
That's wonderful.
Good.
Remember that costume and you look so stunning, but this story is amazing.
Yeah, that was the best part of my day. It was really fun.
I love that so much. One year when I was coming in to that convention, they piece bonded Godzilla. You know, I used to travel regularly
Godzilla
with my 15-inch tall Godzilla steampunk.
I know.
And I don't anymore because I use a cane and I need at least one available hand. But he's a long-time companion and he's really reformed. He hasn't destroyed Tokyo in a while, and he's like,
good for him.
He's been going to some meetings with other monsters called City Crushers Anonymous, and they're doing a really good job. They've been, working one day at a time, one step at a time, if you will, but a step not in cities. And I'm so proud of him.
That is very good. I think that people can change, and monsters also.
Monsters also.
Yes.
Dear Godzilla, king of the monsters, king of the modern monster, as it were. But monsters as an idea in fiction have been around for so long.
Yes, so long.
They are wonderful. And I do think that they make a wonderful metaphor for terrible things we face in reality and for grappling with those terrible issues and the complexities of life.
Right.
So
I agree. I think they can stand in for the abusive parent, and it can help you kind of, you come to terms with the fear of the monster, and then you can then come to terms with the fear of the abusive person, and then hopefully, move forward.
And sometimes we have monsters like Frankenstein, who are not the monster at all.
Mm-mm.
And they are standing in for, something else, for people who are misunderstood or to the fringes of society or criminalized for being different. And I love the power of monsters to fill those gaps in our conversations when we cannot talk about things head on. They're lovely.
They
So,
are.
and oh my gosh.
See?
Yes.
You can.
Oh, Alicia, helping out with the knife hiding is so good. So Diana, my
Yeah.
darling, my dear friend, you do create a safe space on the internet for people to have arguments and conversations and share their passion for the Gothic. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. I
Is there
really enjoy it. I've been doing this since 2015.
It's amazing. And you have an incredible following, and people really do turn to you as their sort of goth auntie in a lot of ways to create
A
this safe.
fairy goth mother. I kind of think of myself as a fairy goth mother, Baba Yaga.
I love that. Fairy godmother, Baba Yaga. That's a costume mashup too.
I had this plan about a Baba Yaga costume where you use one of those, those floating skateboards that have the stick that
Yes.
they just glide. I don't know how they do that. It's not a real skateboard, but they're like scooters that glide. I thought, what if I made a whole thing that looked like a pestle, and then the stick would be the mortar. And if I dressed like Baba Yaga, I could fly around in the mortar and pestle.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
It would be fun, but it would be a lot of work because I don't know how to ride a skateboard, or I'd probably break my neck.
Well, it's a mortar, so you could put like a little, maybe a frame around yourself so you wouldn't fall off. I don't know. I would also injure myself deeply trying to do something like
I wore skates, roller skates to work at a costume contest one time. I dressed up as a roller derby girl because I always had it on my bucket list to wear skates to work. And I work at a law office. So it was fun, but I couldn't walk.
Oh,
And I couldn't really roll because it was carpet.
oh,
But it was very fun.
oh! I love that you did that. That's wonderful. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, my friend, over the past almost decade that you've been doing this, then because if you started in 2015, next year's going to be 10
10
years.
years. I know.
Is there a lesson you've learned from this? Perhaps there are many.
I would say that Facebook has gotten more strict, and I have this thing where I save all of the memes that I've ever posted and the ones that I find, and I have over 12,000 right now. But there's one thing I posted that Facebook banned me for a month. I mean, they let me continue posting, but they were just very angry with me, and they blocked it, and they said it was not appropriate. And I have something right here I'm going to show you if you hang on just a sec, okay?
Yes. Oh, we're about to get scandalous, everyone.
Okay. Over here. And to me, this was the most ingenious thing. It is a candle holder, and it is the guy, the vampire from Lost Boys.
Oh yes,
Yes. And
character.
if you light this candle, the wax comes out his mouth. Right? I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I posted on Facebook, and it was too violent. And so on my Facebook page, I have a picture of this that says Facebook hates candles, because I can't figure out why it's inappropriate to have a candle holder with wax. So I have to be very careful not to offend people with a candle on Facebook.
Oh yeah, no.
It's super dope, and it is from a company called Disturbia, and I get goth clothing from there sometimes. I have some really good goth clothing. So go to Disturbia and look at accessories, and I think they're in stock right now, but it is so dope. I love it so much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the link for them, everyone, and I will just put that in the comments. There you go. fantastic, and I love it. We're now all obsessed with this candle.
I know. It's
So amazing.
the Lost Boys dude, and I think it's hilarious.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, no. I feel that we could have a support group for the
Yes.
woes of the meta algorithm.
They don't listen to you. Everything is automated. So I had one I posted years and years in a row. And it was a picture from an old movie, and the woman is going like this, and behind her, her husband is stabbed in the back. Okay. And it says, "Need a Snickers? Are you hangry?" Right. But it's because she just stabbed him. Clearly, it was just an old movie still in black and white. And I got in trouble for that too.
Oh,
So,
oh,
because somebody got stabbed, I guess. This is
yeah.
not appropriate on a horror page. How dare you?
Oh, let me grab my pearls.
What?
Yeah, I have to keep my clutching pearls nearby for these moments.
I know.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So we've got yes. This is true.
Yes,
correct. Absolutely.
it's true. So I am more careful now. The one I wanted to post one with Gomez Adams saying that life is great, but I can't because in the background is a noose, which is appropriate for the Adams family. That is normal decor.
Yes.
But the noose, then they ask me if I have suicidal ideations and do I need to talk to someone.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Well, I know.
Yes, it's so good. And this is some of the magic you can see on the Dreadpunk page. It's so wonderful. And it's just a treasure, as are you, Diana.
Thank you.
I love getting to chat with you.
It's so fun.
It's such a delight. We'll have to have you back in the future.
Anytime.
But in the meantime, everyone, do check out Diana's page. And if you have the opportunity, come join us at TusCon here in Tucson, the second weekend in November. Thermo Cosplay will be there. I'm going to be there. Diana will be there.
Yes.
Corey Doctorow is the guest of honor.
Heather Dale.
Heather Dale is our filth guest, and Sarah Clemens is the artist guest of honor. It's a fantastic local science fiction, fantasy, and horror convention. This is year 51.
51.
Remarkable. The tickets are still available. There's so much programming.
It's so fun. It's just cozy. They have a ton of artists that come and sell their work. This is my Christmas shopping go-to, or Yule or Hanukkah, or I have friends from all walks of life. So whatever they celebrate, it's a gift time for them. And at work, I always promise everyone I'm going to bring them back something weird. And I never break that promise because there's a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. And, come get your own pair of planchette earrings.
I'm going to go there first.
Other delightful things is, yes, the artist, the art show, the wonderful vendor hall, all of that is full of really fantastic local people. I know that Chaz will be back, and he's just an incredible artist.
Yes, he's going to be the cover artist for a future project of mine. If I ever get done with this current project, I feel that I am stuck in this hell forever. But when I am free, he's promised he will do the cover for me.
Oh, Thermo, I'm so happy you're going to be at TusCon. I cannot wait to see you. I do actually get to see Thermo the weekend before.
Well, Thermo doesn't really look like a feral ghoul from Fallout 4.
Not usually. Okay. Not every day. Only on special days. Only occasionally. Thermo Cosplay is wonderful. The wonderful host one of the wonderful hosts for Cost Talk Live, which happens on Sundays, another fantastic podcast all about cosplay. And also Thermo and her wonderful partner in cosplay, Jessica, is they are part of UwuCon, which is happening in Phoenix the first weekend of November. And I will be there on Saturday as one of the judges for the costume contest. So that's coming up. And I love this. Thermo says, I wear my smoothkin among the normies.
But we're not normies, so I guess we won't ever see.
So good. Alicia is bemoaning, why are all the good cons either in the Midwest or the West?
I guess you need to come here.
Well, yes, all the way from New York. Alicia does actually come down for Wild West Con, which is absolutely a delight.
It is great.
So good. Alicia, I suspect it's because it's cheaper here to host things than in New York.
That would probably be true.
Yeah, so good. But this is wonderful, everyone. It's so fantastic to spend this time with you, my darling Diana, and to introduce you to all of our lovely friends, and to have a chance to sort of revel in our Gothic joy tonight. It's been absolutely a treat. So, everyone, remember, check out Diana's work at Dreadpunk Gothic Horror. Come see us at TusCon. See me at UwuCon with Thermo and a bunch of wonderful humans. And watch out, we will be back next week for Friday Tea. The Grand Arbiter will be back. We'll be just reveling in more spookiness. The
Dia de Muertos
does not end with Halloween. That's right. We're going to keep it going. Just a reminder that the wonderful Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol is a ghost story.
It is.
And, so we're going to go spooky all the way into December.
That's my favorite.
Yes, I love that. And thank you, Ricky. It was wonderful to have you here. Everyone, have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
And we'll have Diana back in the future. So remember, everyone, this is my little closing reminder to please treasure yourselves as we treasure you. And that means you need to take very good care of yourselves, wash your hands, get your vitamins and minerals, stay hydrated, get your boosters and vaccines, and mask when you need to. We are in the flu and COVID season, so please take very good care of yourselves.
Yes.
And to our dear, wonderful Patreon community, thank you for supporting us and making all of these things possible. If you haven't joined our Patreon yet, please consider doing so. I'd love to have you there. Oh, you're a long-time supporter, Diana, and I am so grateful. And I just released a special list of books, Steampunk Spooky Reads for the season.
I saw that.
So another enticement to join our Patreon. So, my darlings, please come be part of our virtual space, join our Discord, join our Patreon, go visit Diana at Dreadpunk Gothic Horror.
You'll be welcomed.
Yes, and take very good care of yourselves. We'll see you next Friday for more tea and shenanigans. Diana, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
All right, cheers, everybody. Good night.